evening, friends, and welcome to another edition of Bill Crane's Sports Report with my co-host, Gary Patterson.
Evening,
We're
Bill.
here to give you the straight scoop on everything.
That's right.
No stone left unturned. We get so much stuff here tonight. I
I'm
don't know where
sure,
to
yeah, it's been a
start.
busy time.
This has been a busy one. Well, what's the 800-pound gorilla in the room? The Bruins?
I guess so.
What do you read into all of this?
Well, you know, I think it's time for change, certainly, along with everyone else. And I think that, in my mind, Claude needs to go. He's been a terrific coach. He's had a great run. He will have another job in the league, but I think they really need to make a change because I think they really need to filter in those young players. They got Spooner and Pasternak and Connolly, who I'm kind of excited about.
And you got Joe Morrow down there.
Yeah, they need to bring in more.
Yeah,
right.
They've got to do it.
And Claude's just not.
It's just a roadblock.
That's not his thing.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. He wants more of Daniel Paillet.
Yeah.
Soupy Campbell.
Right.
But, you know, Fluto for the Globe wrote quite a column today. And I got to tell you something. I think he's misguided in the. Well, I don't know. But
okay. I didn't see it, so.
Yeah, it's the editorial. He's now. I'm going to tell you the whole thing. Then I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
Neely did not have the final say on player personnel this year. Only by firing Chiarelli has he made a coup d'etat and has taken over everything.
Okay.
I find that one, but hang on. He was not authorized to fire Julian earlier in the year when he wanted to.
Neely we're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. And Chiarelli was standing behind Julian at the time.
I don't think so. I think it went further on up.
So it's Charlie.
Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
I think so, and I think he was backing Peter Chiarelli. But
Okay.
I think it went to the Charlie level. Yeah. I think he's got the power now, and now this is kind of a paraphrase of what Fluto said was he's got the power now, and I'm sure Julian will go.
Okay.
Earlier this week, he was asked if he would resign, and he refused, saying, I signed a contract to coach the Bruins. I'm going to coach the Bruins. Now, I don't blame him for doing that because he's got a couple years left on an extension that they gave him. He hasn't even started on that yet.
Right.
So I don't know whether they gave him 2 or 3. My guess would be 2, but I don't know.
Right.
But I'll bet you it's $750,000, $800,000 a year, maybe close to $1 million.
It's
more than that.
Yeah.
Well, he said, Juliet is saying, no, I know resign, you know?
I'm going to get paid.
Yeah, you fire me, you pay me.
Right.
And that's the way it works.
I would do the same thing if I were him.
Absolutely. This was wise on his part. Now, they actually asked Julian, and they admit this, by the way, that they asked him to resign.
Okay.
Julian just...
I wonder if they asked him to resign, saying, you know, you will get paid. We will.
I'll be willing to bet you. I'll bet you it was something like, Gary, I want you to resign. Don't worry, we'll work something out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No, not with Jeremy up there. I don't think either one of them would have the wherewithal to negotiate at something like that. Neely told Chiarelli to hold the high draft picks and not trade them for rentals at the deadline. He kept the number 1 choice, but he took the 2 number 2s that they got for Johnny Boychuk and sent them down to Florida for Conley.
Right. But I think that qualifies as a long-term deal, not a rental, don't you?
It does. But those are high draft choices, 2 number 2s. You know, 2 number 2s and a warm body gets you up in the number 1 area.
Yeah.
I think that may have been the straw that broke the camel's back.
You know, that's one of the deals I didn't mind. Because I like this kid Connolly. I think he's a very high pick, right? He was his third pick in the draft? Fourth, maybe?
Seventh?
He was in that top 10.
Yeah, I know that, yeah.
Only a top 10 pick in Sagan's draft.
And there was a bunch of guys, there was a bunch of good guys in front of him.
And he underachieved where he was, but he struggled because he was on a team that had
Plus he had a serious injury.
Yeah.
Early on, missed a good part of the season.
So he's 23 years old.
And a good hard shot, and offensive skills.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't turn out, if he's just a one-dimensional player,
right,
then Chiarelli he'd be tagged. So that's what you did. You got Johnny Boychuk for this stiff, huh?
Yeah. Because that's what it comes down to. You're right.
That's what it comes down to, yeah.
Boychuk for Connolly. But Connolly, the upside of Connolly is he may be here for the next 10 years. You never know.
You never know. You never know. Now, my question to you is this. Where did Fluto get all this information? If this is all true, and I'll believe it is, where'd you get it? Well,
only a couple choices.
There is only two choices, isn't there?
Yeah.
I would guess Chiarelli.
Yeah.
I don't see Neely sitting down with him and saying, you know, I tried to fire Julian and they wouldn't let me. And
so you think it was Chiarelli hours after he was fired?
Or maybe him and Fluto have a few beers every once in a while and shoot the breeze, and he uses Fluto for assigning a sounding board, or I don't know. You know,
I wonder how long before he was fired Chiarelli knew he was going to be fired. They had that little dog and pony show trotting Chiarelli and Cloud out on was that Tuesday or Monday?
I can tell you the exact day that Chiarelli knew he was going to be fired.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. Chiarelli says team lacks will. If I know Cam Neely, when he opened up the Globe and got through with the comics and the crossword and got to the sports section and saw that, remember the night he went berserk with Alf Samuelson? Yeah, Chiarelli should be very happy he wasn't in the area.
Yeah.
I think that's, boy, I'll tell you what.
It's also an indictment of the coach, though, don't you?
It is, sure. Of course it is. But you know what? I'll be willing to bet you. Trying to read between the lines, I wonder if this business about firing Julian in midseason, I wonder if he told Chiarelli to do it. Chiarelli didn't.
And Chiarelli wouldn't do it, yeah.
And Chiarelli said, we need to talk to Charlie about this. I don't think this is a good move. And
yeah. You know, Chiarelli, of course, made the public comments maybe a couple of years ago, that as long as he was there, Claude would be there.
Joined at the hip.
Right, joined at the hip. So
I'll tell you what, Cam cleaned house. Well, there's one more body left to be hauled out, but he got the director of scouting today.
Yeah.
European scouting, I think, and he got another scout.
Another scout.
Yeah, and he got rid of both of them. Cam has taken the team over.
Right.
And I gotta believe it's with the old man's blessing, Jeremy.
Now, they brought Wayne Gretzky's brother into the scouting department last year. Yeah. Right. So is he? I'm not sure. Is he in charge of scouting?
I think
Gretzky?
he is.
I think he is.
I think he's the head of scouting department, and they claim that he really knows the OHL, the Ontario Hockey League. That he's really been very successful in. I forget who the hell he was working for, but
so Pasternak was his pick.
Yeah.
So far, so good.
Yeah. Gee. Well. Yeah. Pasternak is going to have to add about 14 or 16 pounds of muscle, I think. But he's only 18 years old,
right.
you know?
Right.
But he certainly's got skills. But if we maintain this same two, Chiarelli and Julian, he'll be playing for Providence next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, right down. Yeah, you haven't learned it all yet, kid. You're going back down there, See if I can
And
get
you
you.
might have Spooner next to him.
Yeah,
So,
well, that's it
you know,
exactly. I'm going
they
to put you on
wouldn't-
the line with Spooner down there.
I mean, Spooner had a great training camp this year.
That's right.
They sent him down.
Yep. Now, he went down there. He wasn't happy.
Right.
But I can understand why he wasn't happy. He comes up here, works his butt off.
Yeah.
Well.
And then he comes up and plays.
Yeah.
And plays well.
Yes. Couldn't find the net. But then he came up the second time, and holy cow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got on a line with Lucic and with Pasternak, moving the puck around, skating. Yeah. I mean, he had been on the fourth line with Soupy and and they insisted on playing him as a wing too. Right. You know, what's he, about 5'6" and weighs about 140, and they put him on the wing. Get in the corners there, kid, and grind it out. Well, you're not grinding back to Providence with you.
Third line center next year, don't you think?
I think so, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, I hope the Bruins, would I like to see them break the mold. Now, they've already told Campbell he's gone.
Yeah.
Paille, he's gone.
He's gone, yeah.
And if I were Max Talbot, I wouldn't expect a long career here in Boston, although he's got a 2-year contract.
Yeah, and I'm okay with him. If you're talking about him as
Yeah.
essentially the fourth line center.
Yeah. 16 games with the Bruins, no goals.
Right.
But playing with those other guys, what do you expect?
Right.
But I'd love to see them just say, you know what? Why can't we have talent on the fourth line?
Yeah.
Why can't we bring some youngsters up from Providence? And we'll throw them out there on the fourth line once in a while and see if we can scare them with some offense and some skating and some passing. Let their checking line see if they can catch up with us.
Right.
I'd love to see them do that. Jimmy Vesey, good news, is not going to go pros. He's going to go back for his 4th year at Harvard.
Is he?
Yeah.
I hadn't heard that.
And he told them that he's going to. His dad was up for a cup of coffee for 2 different teams. I think the Blues and the Bruins both. And I think he might have said to him, now, son, I don't know whether you're going to make the bigs, but I'll tell you what, a degree from Harvard in business management is going to take you a long way, boy.
Sure.
So I was glad to see that.
But Eichel's coming out, right?
Yeah.
Second pick in the draft, I hear.
First, maybe.
Well, there's some other kid.
There is a kid, the Canadian kid, yeah. But I think, Eichel, he looks pretty good.
He is a phenomenal player.
And the Bruins' 5th round pick in 2011, Rob O'Gara, is going to go back to Yale for his senior year.
Okay.
And he's a big stay-at-home defenseman. I'm sure Claude, if Claude sticks around, he'll fall in love with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like them. They don't like the ones that don't go across the red line, you know?
Yeah.
But
you actually use one of those, though.
Listen, you got to have both kinds.
Yeah.
You know, if you got somebody like Bobby Orr with Jets, well, you got to have Dallas Smith to stay back and mind the store. I mean, there's no harm in that. Dennis Seidenberg is a good example. He doesn't do much flying up and down the ice. He comes in and pinches in, intelligently, by the way, once in a while. But I think that you got to have both types. I got some names now for you.
Okay, names.
No particular sport, but just names. Clay Buchholz.
Yeah, maddening.
What did you think about?
Terrific on opening day.
Yeah.
Horrible. His last start in New York, just abysmal. So it's tough to count on a guy like that.
It is. There's
and
just
let's not even go there in terms of saying he's your number 1 starter.
And you know,
if he's your number 1 starter, you don't have a number 1 starter.
Something's wrong. They're really wrong. I don't know. He just, and then he gets injured.
Yeah.
You know, and maddening. Yep. Good. That's a good name. Rusney Castillo. Playing all out down at Providence and
got hurt.
Yeah, slams his shoulder into the wall, diving into the wall, trying to make a catch or something.
Yeah.
And jeepers creepers, the sight of him down in Providence just drives me up, Pawtucket, nuts.
Yeah. Well, I think it's okay. He's a long-term investment. They've got a abundance of players now. They need to work out what are they doing with Craig and Nava and all these guys. I think that's going to work itself out. Hopefully they're looking at the market maybe for some additional pitching to come in.
Well, you hope so. And you hope Alan Craig gets his act together and gets a home run and a double coming up here in a game, and they stick him at first and he looks all right, and somebody says, he's back.
Yeah, Victorino will get hurt.
So, I can see this one happen at any moment.
Right.
And that'll be a blessing because Nava out there, along with Castillo, looks a hell of a lot better in right field to me than Victorino.
Yeah.
Although Victorino can go get it.
Yeah.
But
looks like they're going to have to find at bats for Brock Holt, though. That kid, I tell you, you put him in and he just hits and hits.
He's like the Energizer Bunny. You just plug him into the wall, and all of a sudden, boom! He's doing it defensively and offensively, both.
Terrific.
Koji Uehara.
Yeah, question mark.
Big question mark. $18 million question mark.
Yeah. But I think he's going to be okay. I think they're taking the right approach. I think they over-pampered him on the little hamstring issue. And
I think they had to at the age of 40.
Yeah.
I think especially with the bullpen. Well, we'll get to that in a moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tommy Lane. Here's a guy that pitches all last year. What was he? .80 or something like that for an earned run average.
Yeah.
Pitched well in spring training. Had that one bad outing.
Yeah.
And he's down at Pawtucket.
Yeah, they moved him out the other day.
Yeah.
I don't think that'll be for long.
No, I don't think so either. But Rick Porcello.
Yeah. I think he's going to be a bit overpaid. I think he's a number 3 starter, and I think he's a pretty good number 3 starter.
If that's the case, then I think he's about right, just about right as far as the pay is concerned. Maybe a little overpaid.
A third year, number 3 starter now is $20 million a year for a number 3 starter.
Now the average baseball salary is $4 million.
Yeah.
So that means that the scrubs, the guys have been kicking around, they're making big money.
Sure they are.
Mookie Betts.
Wow.
I don't think we need to say anything more than that.
Yeah.
Wow. This kid,
Amazing.
I remember thinking to myself, and I was talking to one of my sons, I don't know, we were watching a game, and we were watching, who the devil was it? Oh, gosh. I have these men, I can't remember names worth a damn, but it's shortstop, the best shortstop we've had in the last 20 or 25 years.
Nomar?
Nomar. Yeah. God, I know that name as well as my, but watching Nomar, and I said, you know what? We're going to be able to watch him for the next 15 years.
Yeah.
Because he was doing phenomenal things out there. This is how I feel about Mookie Betts.
Yeah, Mookie Betts. I mean, when you consider the fact that last spring training he was the second baseman, he never played the outfield.
Never.
And you watch him patrol out there.
How about that
catch he made on Bryce Harper opening day, taking away a home run? Yeah, and the kid had never played the outfield until they called him back up later in the year because they had nobody else to play out there.
Incredible. Yeah. Mookie Betts, well, we just talked about. Shane Victorino, we just talked about him.
Yeah. I like the guy, but
what's not to like?
Right.
But you know what? He's clogging up the flow of younger players.
Right.
That their time has come.
Yep.
And I remember going back to the Red Sox when Ted Williams was there, and we had Gene Stevens and Marty Keough behind him, and they both died on the vine.
Right.
Because Ted kept playing, and Jackie Jensen kept playing. And they never got their chance. When they finally did,
Stevens
couldn't hit his weight.
Well, as great as all these guys might be, I don't think any of them are going to hit 388 at age 39 like Teddy Ballgame.
They're not.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Big Poppy. Well, total lack of speed, and again this year, jogging to first.
Yeah.
I think he's disrupted and ended some innings already this year because he can't move.
Right.
I don't know what to say, but I will say this much. If he doesn't start hitting, as much as we love him and all that stuff.
And I think he's let all this shift stuff get to him.
It has. It's gotten to him.
Yeah.
And he also, did you happen to read the article in the Globe about how they have to kowtow to Pappy, Big Poppy? That Farrell has to bring him in, discuss every move he's going to make. Well, I'm going to sit down. We're going to sit down, Mookie, and we're going to put Craig in the outfield. Now, what do you think of that?
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. And then what do you think about the bullpen? And, what would you think if we sent somebody down and brought somebody up? What's your input on that? Because they have to flatter him. Otherwise, he gets all down in the dumps and they don't like me anymore and all this crap.
Yeah, that's a little much.
Yeah, that's a little much is right.
Yeah.
But anyway, Darrelle Revis.
Darrelle Revis. Yeah.
Did you see that, was it tweet stuff or whatever it was?
Yeah, going back and forth.
Somebody said, much ado about nothing. This is how young athletes talk.
Yeah.
Just.
I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
Does nothing.
Look,
for
they're not classy guys. They're not graduates from Boston College with a degree in English. I mean,
but Revis has never really carried himself like that.
No, he's
which is
not.
Surprising.
You're right.
That's the surprising
You're right.
part of it.
But I think Revis kind of forgot about the fact that, well, this is public property, all this crap,
Right.
Out
of character, I think.
Yep. I think you're right. Yeah.
So we'll give him that one.
Yep. Give him that one. That's a mulligan.
Yep.
Yep. Randy Carlisle, Peter Horacek, Dave Nonis, and Ted Nolan. All.
Yeah.
They cleaned house up to Toronto. Not that Carlisle had already got it at mid-year, but boy, they didn't look at Peter Horacek too long. And
no.
Dave Nonis, the GM, who, by the way, this is interesting. Well, and then Ted Nolan over in Buffalo. But Ted Nolan and the GM over there, Murray, didn't speak. He said, I probably talked to him twice during the season. He says, Nolan does his own thing. He's not approachable.
Yeah, I don't get Toronto. Toronto, that league needs for Toronto to be a bellwether franchise.
Do you know that
and
when
it's
I
been
was
a generation.
When I was a little kid, that was my favorite team.
Yeah.
Other than the Bruins. I used to love it.
Those uniforms.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, I used to love going into Boston and seeing Toronto play the Bruins.
I did too, because my table hockey game was Montreal and Toronto.
Yeah.
And I always wanted to be Toronto.
Yeah.
Partly because I hated the Canadians, but
they were my favorite guys. John Lester,
tough start.
Two brutal starts,
and who knew you had to throw to first?
Yeah.
Who knew? I think he'll be okay, but it's a tough start for him.
Really, I think so too, but I don't think it's the way they planned it out there.
No, and I think he's finding that the National League's a lot different than the American League.
Yeah.
And it is.
Kurt Schilling calling out Kurt Buckles, Clay Buckles.
Clay Buckles, yeah. I think I don't pay that much attention to Schilling anymore, to be honest with you.
Really?
Well,
I love him.
I like him, but
Well,
I think he's also.
They asked him the question, and boy, I'll tell you what.
He answered it, didn't he?
He sure did. No mealy-mouthing around. By the way, speaking of mealy-mouthing around, the Daily Double on the Bruins broadcasting staff
Yeah.
When the rumors were going around at the end of the season about Cloud and Peter Chiarelli, boy, I'll tell you, Brickley, you would think that, I don't know, maybe be somebody's brother-in-law or something, Brickley, but
yeah.
he defended Chiarelli, and how can you possibly criticize this man? And it just was, it was madness.
Yeah, you're not going to get independent analysis from Brick.
No, you're not.
I think you do get some good color commentary from him in terms of what's happening on the ice, but
when he concentrates on what's going on out there, he do the X's and O's.
yeah,
But he's too busy laughing at the other clowns' attempt at humor or
yeah,
and everything. He chuckles about everything, you know. And
yeah.
golly.
He's no Cooney Weiland, huh?
No. Jerome Iginla, 29 goals.
Boy, he had a good year, didn't he?
Yep. Playing for Colorado.
And we sure could have used him.
Boy, could we ever. Unbelievable.
Especially when you consider that part of the Bruins salary cap problem this year was
That dead money.
$4 million
Yep.
of Iginla money for his incentives. Yeah, that hurt.
Yaramayaga re-signed in Florida.
There's no stopping him.
I'm telling you. What he's collecting Social Security now, right?
He might be. He might be.
Unbelievable.
I'll tell you though, the last game the Bruins played against Florida, he looked good. He was all over the place.
He gets the puck down low. You can't get it
Can't
away
get
from him.
And he's not that fast, but he's
he
keeps that
must
puck
be
on his stick.
240 pounds.
Yeah.
Boy, I'll tell you.
So he's what, 43?
I think 43 or 44. You know.
And of course, he lost so much money there. He had to rebuild his wealth, so he may play a couple more years.
Milan Lucic.
Yeah.
I entered the season with a poor frame of mind.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready to play hockey. Well, I tell you what, the coach or the general manager would have said, Milan, you get the right frame of mind. I'm going to give you about 20 minutes to get it.
Right.
And you're not ready to play hockey, I'm going to give you 30 minutes to get ready to play hockey. I don't want to hear any more of that stuff.
Yeah.
Can you imagine him saying that to Harry Sinden?
No, I can't. So it's time for Milan to move on, I think.
$6 million. Not in the right frame of mind. It affected my whole season.
Yeah.
So did he say to the Bruins, look, I stunk the joint out, so here's $3 million back?
Right.
Yeah, right.
Time
Time to go. Boom. We don't have room for the Spooners, the Pasternaks, the Trotmans, but we kept Jordan Caron around.
Yeah.
Because he was our #1 draft choice in 2009, and somebody couldn't bear the thought of him being a bust. So we just kept waiting for him to.
Even though it was readily apparent he was a bust.
I think so. I never saw much enthusiasm out of him.
No.
Spooner, Pasternak, Trotman, Morrow, they're the guys of the future for the Bruins.
Right.
Now, are they the answer? Maybe not. But you got to play them because they're the next generation coming up to replace, some of these slugs.
Sure.
So, I mean, and whose fault is it if they're not ready? Claude, for not getting them ready and playing them, and Peter Chiarelli for drafting them if they were no bloody good.
Yeah, the drafts have been bad.
Bad, yeah.
Until last year.
Yeah.
Pasternak looks like a good pick.
Yeah.
A Gretzky pick.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't know. But then I get thinking about things like Blake Wheeler. 26 goals he ended up with the Jets. Something. I don't know where we'll play him. He's just, he's neither fish nor fowl. And Tyler Seguin ended up 37 goals. If he had played the entire schedule, he would have had 42, 44 goals.
Right.
Benoit Poulier for Edmonton, 19 goals. Go away, Benoit.
Didn't even give him a chance.
No.
Right.
Cheapest. And Brad Boyes, 14 goals and 28 assists as a power play specialist and kind of a guy they threw out there once in a while for Florida. And he was a plus 11. And by the way, Wheeler, 26 goals, was a plus 26
Wow.
for the Jets. So obviously he knows a little something about playing defense, too.
Yeah.
And then, of course, well, Dennis Weidman ended up 15 and 41, 56 points.
Yeah.
Him.
Just let him walk.
Yeah, Johnny Boychuk ended up on the plus 15. Yeah. Now
What do we need that for, Bill?
yeah. And, oh, by the way, here's one more note, too. In your sympathy card to Claude.
Yes.
Dear Claude, talk to me about Johnny Gaudreau. 24 goals, 40 assists, 64 points, plus 11, and he's an undersized rookie. Mm-hmm. How do things like that happen? I'll bet you he's not responsible, though, is he?
Yeah, does he back check, Bill?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yankees defense.
Oh, my goodness.
This is going to be a long year.
It certainly is, yeah.
And are they really going to go young and rebuild? What's the plan? Are they just...
They're stuck in the middle. It seems like they have no plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But boy, I watched all 3 games.
Yeah, me too.
Couldn't believe that was the Yankees. And you know what? Their shortstop, who they moved over to second base, made on the instant replay. Now, it's funny because they didn't say anything about it up in the booth. Jerry or Don didn't say anything about it. But when the bases loaded double, the hell hit that? Anyway, 3 runs came in, but the 3rd run came in. The second baseman caught the ball like this. It was like he was steamed up, never turned around.
Yeah.
And the guy came in from 3rd. And he just stood there. When he finally looked around, he went like that. That's never threw.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I mean, this is just a mental error. I mean,
yeah, the Yankees are a mess.
They really and truly, yeah. But
they got Stephen Drew.
And that's right. Now, let me ask you a question. A pinch hit grand slam home run.
Grand slam, yeah.
A home run in the game before that. And a Gold Glove shortstop. How can we get guys like that in Boston? Celtics versus the Bruins.
Yeah.
They're going in opposite directions.
They certainly are. And you really got to give a tip of the hat to the Celtics.
Yeah.
I mean,
Brad Stevens.
They have done. Brad Stevens is a heck of a coach.
He is.
We've learned that this year.
Yeah,
He's a
and
very
Danny
good coach.
Ainge is picking up pieces,
bits
and pieces
I have
here
great
and
faith
there.
in Danny.
Yep.
I think the team is actually poised to get back really quick.
Oh, I was talking to Danny O'Connell it was a while ago. They're just one big man away, Bill, I'm telling you.
I think they're 2 guys away, personally, and some growth with the kids that are already there. I think they've got their guards already.
Yep.
All 5 of them, right? Because I think, it depends a little bit about what Young becomes, the kid they drafted last year from Kentucky.
Yeah, no,
but a lot of people think he's the real deal.
Yeah, but he's been up in Maine.
Yeah.
Not ready for prime time quite yet.
Right.
But of course, they grabbed these kids in basketball. I mean, when they're still in diapers.
Yeah,
for
you don't
heaven's
know.
sakes. I mean, God Almighty.
Avery Bradley's coming into his own 5 years later after being a one and done kid in Texas, right? Texas Tech. So the guards look great, and Isaiah Thomas was a terrific. He's our microwave off the bench.
Yeah, and I've said this before, but Brandon Bass, I just hope they can hang on to him. He is just that veteran presence that just goes out there and does good things.
So I agree. The one big hole they have is they have no interior defense. Their interior defense is just abysmal.
Not strong off the ball. Although Sullinger,
my second-tier free agent for them is Omer Ozick. I think I mentioned this last year.
I know that you did.
This kid is a 7-footer, very good defender, rebounder, rim defender.
That's what Danny wants, is a rim defender, yeah.
And he would be the perfect, if you add him to this team and let them continue to grow, and then get yourself a small forward. Yeah. And he's got the assets to do it. He has the most important things.
Well, he's got 151 draft choices.
He's got 151 draft choices, a lot of first rounders, and he has cap space.
And let me tell you something. That's a good combination.
And a lot of good young players.
Yeah.
I agree. There are a couple of, I think they're 2 to 3 players away.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, those 2 or 3 players are your top-end players.
They're key players. Sullinger got the hint, and he's finally losing some weight. His father, I guess, had quite a talk with him. Said,
and that's good because I think it increases his trade value.
It does.
I think
He's
trade.
You know, I'll tell you what, he's a hell of a rebounder.
Yeah.
And he doesn't jump.
Right.
Mets this is a sad story. Mets closer Jenry Mejia got suspended for 80 games. I think this is going to be his 3rd offense.
Oh, really?
Drug charge. I think so, because it doesn't run. Well,
3 strikes and you're out, I thought, no?
Well,
for a full season?
Well, I don't understand all of this. The first go-round is a warning, and it's not publicized.
Correct.
Then it's 30 games, and I thought it was 50 games and then 80 games. Maybe it's 30 games to 80 games. Maybe that's it. But I got to tell you something. This guy has got to be the stupidest guy in the world. He's played in the majors, and he gets you know what he took? Lasix, the stuff they give racehorses to stop them from bleeding. He took that.
For why?
Because it hides drugs.
Oh. Okay.
What the heck is it? I got it written down here someplace. Fluorosonk or so. I'll come to it. But boy, I'll tell you, how dumb can you be? You're making all. I don't know how much he's making. I say he's making $2, $3, $4 million. You go out and you use this to cover up whether it's weed or coke or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
A graduate of the Aaron Hernandez Elementary School.
Yeah. Oh boy. How about the Masters? Did you watch any of the Masters?
I did.
I did
watch,
too. Saturday and Sunday both.
Yeah.
First of all, I love the golf course.
It's
just special. It
really is.
It doesn't get any better than that. And you can get into trouble sneezing on that golf course.
Yeah.
And Jordan Spieth, what a story! What a story! 21 years old, and he's got nerves of steel out there.
Absolutely.
Ice water in his veins, and just does the right thing and he's so decent to
he's
people.
such a good. Seems like a good kid.
Boy,
and going to make about probably $600 million over the next 20 years.
I guess he will.
That girlfriend was staying close.
She was saying, no, he's mine, girl. Stay away. Justin Rose looks like he's
a player.
He's a player. Rory McIlroy, there's no doubt he's a player.
Yeah.
You know, they get some pretty good. And
all the right reasons why I wonder if Tiger will ever even win another tournament.
He may not.
Never mind a major. He's never going to win.
But the old war horse, Phil Mickelson, was out there. And boy, I got to tip my hat to that old guy. He was out there and working, and a couple of those shots.
Yeah.
I mean, the reverse one on the green where it comes back this way.
That's Phil. That short game is something else. And that's why he can still do it at 44, because he's got that from 150 yards in.
Yep. He is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Those guys, that's why I never took up golf seriously. I mean, I see these guys do that stuff. And well, let me throw a little cold water on the Red Sox here, just a little bit. Bogart's defense. He's already made 3. I think he got 2 errors and really should have had a 3rd error. Booted one. And then, what is this about? These guys drive me nuts. Field the ball, take the ball out, and they look at it, and then zoom across.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he zoomed it right into the ground a couple of times. And I'm sure Napoli probably had a talk with him after the game and said, now look, either you bring it up or I'm going to whack you.
Yeah, he's got a ways to go.
Yeah.
But I have been impressed with his range. Seems a little better this year.
Yeah,
he's getting the balls up the middle.
It really has to get better, yeah.
So I think he can
the bat looks good, though.
The bat looks very good, yeah.
Yeah.
I still like the kid.
Yeah. Oh, no. The kid's going to be a really good major leaguer. I just don't know where he's going to play because I don't think he's going to be a shortstop. Look, he's what, 21 or 22 now. He's going to fill out some more. He's going to end up around 230 pounds, and he's no ballerina now.
Right, so in 4 years when Sandoval leaves, he goes to third, right?
Or goes over to first.
Or goes to first.
Because Napoli is in his walk year.
Yeah, that's true.
And unless Napoli has a hell of a year, I don't see the Red Sox doing much more than saying, you want 2 more years at the same price, maybe we can do something. But if you think you're going to get 3 years and 90 out of us, you're out of your mind.
And maybe you put Pablo at first and put him at third.
Now there's a thought there too, sure. Yeah, they got some options. We got to get Holt in the lineup.
Yeah, Holt is an amazing kid. I mean, he just hits and hits.
But boy, I'll tell you what, Ramirez in left, is he on the ball hitting line drives? That boy hits the ball hard.
Yes, he does, yeah. He's going to have a good year.
I think so too. And he looks happy.
I think
he sounds happy.
Yeah. I think he wants to be here.
Yeah.
And why shouldn't he be happy?
Yep.
4 years, $88 million. I think he'll be fine in Fenway. I'm a little concerned on his defense on the road. When he got in Yankee Stadium in that huge left field,
yes, indeed.
He had a couple of anxious moments out there.
Yeah. Kansas City got a big left field too. He may find himself running around out there. By the way, I think the Red Sox are starting a petition to break up the Kansas City Royals.
Yeah.
They're 7-1 start here.
Yeah.
The Bruins press conference that Chiarelli and Julien held jointly the day before Chiarelli got fired, that looked like two guys, both of them Sergeant Schultz from Hogan Heroes. I know nothing, and I don't know. I hope we're going to be here. And they look like two deers with eyes in the headlights,
Yeah, I didn't understand the whole thing. I don't understand why you let them go out there when you know you're going to fire them. I don't really
It was
get
a very, very classless act by the Bruins.
Yeah.
Because that just embarrassed the
Right.
If they weren't planning on it, I still think it was crummy to put them out there by themselves.
Right.
Boy, I just really didn't buy that one.
Why wasn't Cam sitting there with them?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
One way or the other.
President of the team.
Football. Next couple of weeks, we get immersed in the guesswork of the draft.
Oh yeah, I love the draft.
So just real quickly, we don't want to spend much time on this, but linebackers for the Patriots, D-backs.
Yeah, I think we're going to be surprised that we're all anticipating a cornerback being drafted very early, and I don't think a cornerback is going to be drafted early here.
Offensive lineman?
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? Boy, I wish that Stanley Morgan would be reborn and we could draft a burner like him as a wide receiver, because that's one thing this club has lacked. Since when?
Yeah. I was reading about the wide receivers in this draft, and there are a lot of middle round receivers that are just a group. And, you read the scouting reports, people are saying, well, pick one. There's going to be some good receivers come out of this group of receivers, but which ones are they?
Yeah, well, it's a crapshoot. It's like the NBA. What's he going to be like when he grows up?
Right.
Me and you, in the British Premier League, you didn't happen to see any highlights of Wayne Rooney's last goal, did you?
No, I did not. No.
Oh, a big guy like him making a play like that was unbelievable in front of the net.
Really?
Not only did he, made it, got it center, controlled it, and then one of those flop on your backs, and as you follow and boot it into the net.
Oh, yeah. Cheapers.
Oh, that was great, let me tell you. Our crystal ball was working. The Bruins won't make the playoffs. We both said that.
Yeah.
Chiarelli was fired. I said that.
Yeah.
All right, Julien is in limbo. Call it.
Fired.
Okay, me too. There's something else in here I want to make sure we get to. Oh, Where the heck is it? Shoot. Oh, I got it right here. Jameis Winston.
Yeah, yes.
His agent said he's not ready. He's too immature.
Yeah.
And his dubious behavior off the field that has put his readiness for the pro lifestyle into question. I doubt that he is the first NCAA athlete to demonstrate that he's immature and a knucklehead, said the family advisor, David Conwell.
Yeah, quite a surprising statement. Yeah.
Jameis is ready to be an NFL quarterback on the field, but he is not ready to be an NFL player off the field. And he isn't. And he said something that most 20-somethings aren't mature or prepared enough to handle the demands and distractions of NFL life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you could say that a whole bunch of them, probably
Sure.
most of them. But Winston's going to go number 1 or number 2.
Yeah, he is.
And
On potential.
what was the family advisor thinking when he said that? I mean,
Well, I mean, you just look at the kid's behavior over the last few years, and honestly,
I don't
did
think
not
that
agree with that.
I don't think that if if we had a press conference, I held one, and I said, this Gary Patterson on TV with me. I mean, he's a knucklehead. He's soft as a grape, and he's not ready for prime time, and I don't know what.
And you speak the truth.
It's a powerful weapon, the truth.
The truth wins out every time.
Absolutely. Okay, now we're going to get down to serious business. What the hell did I do with my pen? If I got it?
There you go.
Okay, here's the over and under.
Okay,
From
over and under.
Bovado. Sportsbook. Sandoval, 280.
Over.
Bill says under.
Okay.
Bogart, 252.
Over.
Over. Bill says over.
Okay.
Ortiz, 26 and a half home runs.
Under.
Bill says under. Hanley Ramirez, 19 and a half home runs.
Over.
Over is right. That's the correct answer. Buckholz, 11 and a half wins.
I'm going to go over, believe it or not.
Yeah, I hear you.
12 wins, I think he is playing for too good a team not to get 12 wins, as long as he stays healthy.
I'm going for the over also, but I'm going to tell you something. If he doesn't get it, he's gone.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. Porcello, 12 and a half wins.
I'd go over on that one, too.
Me too. Kershaw, earned run average, 2.20.
Over.
Over. Me too. Mike Trout, 32 and a half home runs.
Over.
Over again. Yep. Me too. Stanton, 37 and a half home runs.
Under.
Yep. Well, I tell you what, partner.
Okay, hang on to that sheet
I am
now.
I'm gonna. This is 416. Okay. All right. Now, I got some more questions here for you. Well, I tell you what. We'll go to this right now.
Okay.
Pete Rose. Is it time to forgive and forget?
In my mind, it is. Yeah.
Yes, me too. I agree with you.
I think he's paid a price.
Yep.
He didn't kill anybody.
Yep. Yes, both of us. Josh Hamilton.
Yeah.
Will he play this year?
Yeah, I think he will.
I don't think he'll play for California. They don't want him. The owner out there does not want him. He said some things about him that, he's going to support him and all that, but he does not expect to see him back this year.
Okay.
He's
going to have to deal with the league office on that too, though. He's not.
Yeah, well, that's right. It's not going to skate in. That's right.
Yeah.
James Shields.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did we miss something there? Did everybody?
I don't think so.
No. wouldn't
I didn't want to sign him.
Wouldn't he have been a? But look what he signed for.
What did he sign for?
4 years, 72 or something like that.
Yeah, I don't do
mean,
that deal.
Yeah, see, he, you know, it was supposed to be. He was supposed to be up in the 150s over.
Yeah,
you know,
didn't quite work
but
out.
it didn't work out. But at 4, I think it was 72 or 70.
No. See, I believe the Red Sox have their sights set on one of those 4 or 5 ace pitchers that are heading for free agency. Between Cueto, Jordan Zimmerman, David Price, and I'm forgetting someone. But next year's crop is of #1 pitchers is pretty impressive.
It is.
And I found it very interesting when the Nationals were in town that their GM Rizzo was talking about how he had extensive talks with the Red Sox about Jordan Zimmerman.
And they both teams
they just couldn't quite come
get
together.
the combination. Yeah.
As in, you know, I'll call you back in a month.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you know what? I'm willing to sell a portion of the store for a player that's going to be out there 160 games a year. But man, pitchers are fragile things.
They are.
They're invaluable, but
You got to have them, though. I mean,
you gotta have them.
And I do think Zimmerman is the top of the rotation guy. I'd still take Cueto over
in
him.
Cafado's column, he's saying, we're told James Shields is already improving the culture in the Padres clubhouse. So many teams, including the Red Sox, missed the boat on this guy. It's amazing how numbers can override common sense sometimes.
Well, I think the
I
jury's
loved
out.
him as a bulldog. And you know, as a top of the rotation guy saying, follow me, watch how I do it, I thought that this would have been invaluable. We got a couple of years out of him.
Yeah, I have never been a big game James Shields guy. I never have. I don't think he's a #1 starter. I'd say he's a #2 starter, and I'd say he's a bulldog. He is. He's probably a good presence in the clubhouse. But he's also pitched a lot of innings. He's got a lot of miles on him.
You know, presence in the clubhouse is an important thing.
It is.
We don't get to see it because we're not in the clubhouse.
Right.
But you remember in school, the class leaders, or in the Army, or whatever. Leadership is an important thing.
Right, and I think they get it from Ortiz and from Pedroia.
Yeah.
And we'll see.
We'll see.
You know who strikes me as a guy who's going to give him some of that is Hannigan.
Yeah.
I like that kid.
Yeah.
Local boy, but still.
No kid.
He's no kid. Andover boy.
Yeah. So if the bullpen continues to throw kind of a chink here and there, do you pony up the money and bring Papelbon back from Philadelphia?
Yeah, I mean, I think he can have him for basically nothing.
I think that
he's
if you're
got
willing,
1 year left.
Yeah, well, he's got this year and he's got an option for next year. So
he has an option as a club option.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I think it's his.
I'd be a little hesitant on that.
Well, it's 20. So either way you slice it, it's 26 mil.
Right.
He's lost some velocity, but he still gets guys out.
Right.
But
I think he could help.
Yeah, I do too. He's a little bit of an unguided missile. That's the only thing that that I have. What was that? 5? And it was announced Friday that MLB will not discipline Josh Hamilton, one of the best 5-tool players you'll ever see, for his latest problem with cocaine and alcohol. And Hamilton has not been able to shake his demons since accountability coach Johnny Naran left his side.
Yeah.
You know, I've never been an addictive person. I loved drinking beer when I was young, into my middle ages too, on the road, and doing a lot of business over the beers.
Sure.
But if you said to me, guess what, they shut all the breweries down, no more beer, I would have said, I'll have to think of another way to entertain my customers. But I never got addicted to it. But yet I've known guys that between cigarettes and alcohol could not quit either one.
Mm-hmm.
Either killed or disabled them both.
Right.
Terrible thing.
It is a terrible thing.
All right, now, real quickly, we get the playoffs here in the National Hockey League.
Yeah.
We have Montreal and Ottawa.
Yeah, game one was last night.
Yep.
I was pretty amazed that the NHL chose not to discipline Subban for his slash, broke the guy's wrist. Probably, quite likely Rookie of the Year, too.
One of these deals is, he's a high-profile player. He's Montreal's best player, and we maybe just throw them out of the series if we do that,
Yeah.
But by the same token, you can't allow people to do that.
He broke his wrist. If Sean Thornton had done that, he would have been
99 game
minimum.
suspension. So Montreal versus Ottawa.
Yeah, I'm rooting hard for Ottawa, and I think Montreal will win.
You and me both. Okay. Montreal. Tampa Bay, Detroit.
Detroit.
Okay. Gary says them, and Bill says Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Rangers in Pittsburgh.
Rangers.
Yep. And Washington and the Islanders.
Probably the Islanders.
Yeah, me too. We've got St. Louis and Minnesota.
St. Louis.
I think so too. Nashville and Chicago.
Chicago.
Yeah, me too, but I wouldn't be the least bit surprised.
Could be a war.
Yeah.
Could be a war.
Anaheim against Winnipeg.
Yeah, I'm going to go
Look
with
at
Anaheim.
these green checks.
Yeah.
They all favor Winnipeg.
Yeah, I'm
except
still
the
going with
forwards.
Anaheim.
Anaheim, yeah. I'm going to go with Winnipeg.
Okay.
Vancouver, Calgary.
Ooh. I'm not a Vancouver fan.
Yeah.
I'll go with Calgary.
You and me both.
With my heart.
You and me both.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to get to the American League and our predictions there. But let's see if we got anything else here we can really crank out here rather quickly. I think we hit just about everything.
Wow.
So just one thing, I guess, and that is, were you surprised at the jury verdict?
I was not, actually. I think they got it right. By the time it got to day 5, I was starting to wonder a little bit, what was going on there. But, they got it right.
The jury did a very thorough job.
I do too.
I think they looked at, they had about 800 exhibits to look at and
yeah,
a couple of thousand pages to read and all of that. But I think they took it seriously.
I do too.
I mean, you read so many stories about these trials, and they have a straw vote, and it's 11-1, and they say, "Well, Gary, you going to hold out on this?" No, if it's you 11. All right, but we got to wait a couple of hours to make it look good. And
yeah, let's take a smoke break.
Yeah. Well, Gary, this was a good episode.
Thank you, Bill. It was fun.
A very good one. And I had a couple of things. Here's where I had a couple of things tucked away, but we can get to them next week.
Okay.
But the next time we get together. But next time we get together, I think we're going to have the draft special.
Oh,
and
good.
On that note, folks, we've just been given the signal that it's all over for tonight. So thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.